Ladies and gentlemen, once in a generation, a TikToker is born with an understanding so deep about how the universe works that a mere science teacher like me has got absolutely no chance of keeping up. The TikToker we're going to look at today is so profound, so articulate, that she even makes Terrence Howard look stupid. And he says stuff like this.
Anybody in here that thinks 1 times 1 equals 1, then you give me 2 pounds and I'll give you a pound back. And we'll call that even, right? Because 1 times 1 equals 1.
So profound. Now, the TikToker we're going to look at today is KPodgy2. And you'll notice that number 2 is because this is her second channel. Because the video we're going to look at today contained so much information, so much world-shattering, physics-destroying information, that TikTok just had to take her channel down for it. Whew. Let's go.
I think the firmament, pi, and Nikola Tesla's 369 theory are all connected. This video might blow your mind.
Yeah, this video will blow my mind because it is to science and maths what an episode of Scooby-Doo is to the slasher horror genre. She's going to show us today how pi, the numbers 369, and the flat earth firmament are all connected and can allow us to understand the universe on a really, really deep level. Now, of course, the first step in that is actually knowing what pi is. And I'm sure she won't fall down on the first step.
The more I looked into what pi is actually used for, I found out that you can't create a dome or an arch in architecture without pi. So then I started to think, are they measuring the firmament with pi? I started plugging different numbers into pi. So I had ChatGPT run 3.3 repeating to find the circumference instead of the 3.14 number. And when you replace pi with 3.33, it converts to 66.6.
What? Now, if you're like me and you're struggling to understand that, it's not because it's stupid, it's because it's so incredibly advanced our tiny brains can't grasp it. So I did reach out to Terrence Howard and I said, Terrence, you're going to have to help me with this. But he said, and I quote, no, he's sending a fuck you to the world by showing them how to pull energy from the flux.
Just to say fuck you to the world. I'm going to show them how to pull energy directly from the flux.
Right, so Terrence can't help me. He's obviously pulling energy from the flux, while simultaneously, it seems, pulling scientific facts out of his own arsehole. So I have to deal with this myself. Let's break it down.
The more I looked into what pi is actually used for, I found out that you can't create a dome or an arch in architecture without pi. So then I started to think, are they measuring the firmament with pi?
So I don't know what she means here. I'm assuming she was allowed access to sharp objects at school, in which case she will probably remember that you can use something like a compass to measure out a circle or the base of a dome maybe. Pi itself is a ratio, isn't it? You divide the circumference of a circle by its diameter and you end up at a number that's going to be the same for every single circle in existence, around about 3.14. It's a constant that can never, ever, 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 ever be changed unless you're a TikTok flat earther and you decide just to randomly change it.
I started plugging different numbers into pi. So I had ChatGPT run 3.3 repeating to find the circumference instead of the 3.14 number. And when you replace pi with 3.33, it converts to 66.6.
I mean, what the hell does that even mean? You can't plug different numbers into pi. It's not an equation, it's just a number. It's like saying I'm going to plug different letters into the letter A and see what it comes out at. And pi doesn't determine the circumference of a circle. Pi is the same number for all circles. It's just the consequence of a ratio between the circumference and diameter. None of what you said makes any sense whatsoever. You were hurting my brain. What the fuck? Now, there's only 2 people that can help me understand this, but they are off doing some serious investigation, and I think they'll be busy for a long time.
Could clouds be made of salt?
No. Anyway, she's decided now that pi is 3.33. She's just decided that. So we bounce on to the next part of the video where she just decides to read out this Bible verse.
So in Kings 7:23, it says, "Then he made the sea," I think the sea is the waters above, "of cast metal. It was round, 10 cubits from brim to brim and 5 cubits high, and a line of 30 cubits measured its circumference." The biblical value of pi, as derived from 1 Kings 7:23 and 2 Chronicles 4:2, appears to be an approximation of 3, but some interpretations suggest it might imply a slightly more precise value, such as 3.3 repeating. The reason for that being that there was never adjustments for the thickness.
Amazing. What a coincidence. You just decide that pi from now on is going to be 3.33, because that's the thing you can do now. You simply decide that, and then in a completely unrelated action, you open up the Bible and you read a chapter where it turns out the Bible does indeed suggest that pi might be 3.33. What an unbelievable connection. And this mysterious interconnection doesn't stop there. You see, that Bible verse she read showed that pi was or could be calculated using measurements called cubits. So, of course, there's only one conclusion we can draw from that.
Keep in mind, this is the quantum computing model, and look at what they call particles, qubits, just like in the Bible. And we can energy harvest with piezoelectric, pi.
Now, if you're struggling to see how this means everything is interconnected, let me summarize for you. Pi is 3.14-ish. We can imagine it's going to be 3.33 just because. And then we can open the Bible that suggests it might be 3.33, and that was calculated using measurements called cubits, spelt like this. We have a word called qubit today, meaning something completely different, spelt like this. And we also have the word piezoelectric, which contains the letters Pi. Therefore, everything is interconnected, and it's all to do with pi. Keep up.
Think about the words that have pi in them.
Penis.
If you measure the hemisphere with 3.3 repeating instead of pi, it comes out to 999. Keep in mind, this is what a hemisphere looks like.
At this point, I don't even know what to say. I mean, it's just words. It's so stupid, it's undebunkable.
So then I asked it to create an image of a geodesic dome utilizing 3.33 repeating instead of pi, and look at what it gave me. I'm so shook. It has the sacred hexagons built into it, and hexagons are the most powerful energy producers, and it even has like a hexagon grid that it put in there. It also included this, which looks like an ancient astrology map. And look at this, in the top left, it has a little bubble that says Tesla with lines connecting it to the firmament. He was trying to tap into the firmament.
Wow. Well, I asked AI to create me an image, and it came up with this. It's not proof of much, though, is it? But there's no end to this woman's brilliance. In fact, she can even get artificial intelligence to create her a 369-degree circle. It's amazing.
This is an ancient astrology map, and it perfectly explains why Polaris is in the middle and all of the stars rotate around it. And this looks a lot like this. And this looks exactly like this. I asked ChatGPT to make a 369-degree circle, and this is what it gave me. It even has the circles around the corners, and these also look like eyes to me. Then I asked, how might 3, 6, and 9 be relevant in this model? And it says 3 is the central point, the North Pole, from which all else radiates. 6 could represent intermediate points or radial lines dividing the Earth into sections, similar to a hexagonal layout. 9 could symbolize the outer edge or boundary, often associated with the ice wall, marking the completion of the structure.
So we can redefine pi as 3.33. We can then use that to redefine the circle, and then ask ChatGPT to draw us a 369-degree circle, which we can imagine in our own heads is some kind of flat Earth model, and we can ask ChatGPT to tell us what the different parts of that model mean. That is all something we can do now. And of course, doing that is only going to lead to one natural conclusion.
Which made me think of the black hole sun model. This basically states that there is a black hole sun in the center of the Earth at the North Pole that works together with Polaris. When these two meet, it projects all of reality outwards.
You know, I miss the good old days when people were only this stupid.
Mass is identical to weight, but this weight is space weight.
But today's TikTokers seem to just rapid fire a whole load of non-connected sound bites at you. It's really difficult to follow. It's giving me a headache, as you can see in this video. But essentially what this lady's done is she's redefined pi, which has allowed her to redefine the circle as a 369-degree circle. She's then asked ChatGPT, could that possibly be a flat Earth model? And then she's moved on to Tesla, who was obsessed with the numbers 369, and he was a flat earther, and therefore she's interconnected them all. And this is just how she finishes up.
Tesla also seemed like he didn't believe in globe Earth. He fully denied gravity and only worked with electromagnetic force. He constantly bagged on the theory of relativity. He even said, "We are held together like the stars in the firmament, with ties inseparable." He also said, "The curvature of space is entirely imaginary. Matter, force, and energy are original ideas of the universe and cannot be completely controlled by relativity." He didn't believe that light or electromagnetic waves could exist in a vacuum without a medium, meaning space can't exist without water.
So there we go, a whole load of absolutely random nonsense fired out by that TikToker there in a video that achieved absolutely nothing, but thank you so much for doing it. But one thing really stuck out to me at the end of that video, though, And it wasn't really anything she said. The thing that's really, really bugging me, the thing that's really, really, really confusing me is how the hell did Candid Girl 928 find it in herself to leave this comment?